What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the series, The Bankroll Builder. We did our first episode yesterday, Friday, and it just covered 2 days worth of session. We're playing at 2 cent, 5 cent. We started with 4 buy-ins, right? So $20. The first episode, we were able to run up the bankroll to 41.62. That's where we left off, and so today is Saturday. I played, couldn't really sleep. I played a 1 hour session, 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. And then I played an hour and a half session. I think it was 5:30 to 7. So 2.5 hours today. So that's what we're going to go over right now. Just some hands from there. I think it was like 7 or 8 hands that are relevant enough to do. And so this should be a much shorter video than the other one, right? I'm going to try and keep them shorter than that one. Obviously, that was our first video, so I did a lot of intro and kind of talking about what we'll be doing. But I mean, from this point, we're all on the same page, and we can just kind of get into the hands. So something I want to do, just starting off the show from now on, is for anyone that's new watching, right? Just go over the four rules I have. So rule number 1 is always follow the rules. Rule number 2, never play more than 8 hours a day. Decision making just doesn't really get any better. I think after 8 hours, that's pretty much my max of, like, where I'm playing really well. So I'm not gonna play any more than 8 hours a day. If I go through 3 buy-ins in a day, then we're gonna call that session over, and we'll take the day off. If it happens late in the day, maybe we'll take the next day off too, depending on how we're feeling. So 3 buy-ins and we're done. Hasn't happened yet, which is good. So we've put in 4 sessions so far, including the ones that I'm going to go over with you guys, and there are 4 positive sessions so far, so it's good. This week I want to get just like a whiteboard or something that I'll put up somewhere during intros, that we'll just put where the bankroll's at, and I'll put up some stats, like what we're averaging per hour, what level we're at. So the title of each video, right? Season 1, episode 1. So this will be season 1, episode 2. The seasons will change when the blind levels change, right? So when we get to 30 buy-ins at the next level, then that'll be season 2. So 5 cent, 10 cent will be season 2. Hopefully we get to that. I'm hoping 6 weeks from now is when we'll move up. That's just what I'm hoping for. Maybe sooner, maybe later, who knows. Rule number 4, just kind of my rule, right? So don't play if I have homework due the next day that I haven't done yet. So that's just kind of a rule that's specific to me. The other 3 rules I think are good for most people, right? So, I mean, really just figure out where you can play optimally, right? Like how many hours, and stay within that when you play. And the whole 3 buy-in rule, I think, is a pretty solid rule to have too. Like I said, we're going to be moving up. Once we have 30 buy-ins for the next level in our balance, then we'll move up. So $300 will be moving up. And if we dip under, once we move up, if we dip under 18 buy-ins at the level we've moved up to, we'll be moving back down until we get to 30. So those are just parameters. And yeah, so here we are. This is episode 2, and just a few hands from the 1 hour session this morning and an hour and a half session later in the afternoon that we'll go over. All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to get into the first hand here. We have ace-5 of clubs, under the gun +1. We 4x'd raised. Got a call from our buddy to the left, and the button comes along, and I think the big blind is going to, yep, big blind comes along too. So ace-high flop, no flush draws out there. A lot of straight draws here, right? So like some gut shots, some double gutters, like 10-queen, 9-10, king-queen, stuff like that. We're gonna put in a little bit less than half pot here. Player 2 will fold, I believe. So remember, guys, I'm commentating later on. These are all hands that happened earlier, and I'm just playing them and doing running commentary. So my commentary is just based off of my memory of the hands. This is like the first time I'm watching them too while I'm doing the commentary. So he's gonna call. we could put him on like 9-10. He's going to call with pretty much all of his jacks, I think, on that flop. Obviously, all his aces and some of his eights. 9-10s will continue after that flop, too, I believe. Maybe check raise us. So we put in another bet here, about 30%. If he comes along here, we could put him on like maybe Jack 10 that he doesn't want to give up, a really weak ace, 9-10, things like this. So we got 2 streets of value. I'm pretty sure we're going to be happy with that and just check back. Yeah, so he was calling really light. He was calling with bottom pair. Next hand we have ace 10 spades. Late position. What is this? 35 cents. So we got a min raise before us, 1 limper before him. Okay, so 35 cents. Now, this guy's got 363 behind after this bet. If 8 calls, that's going to entice us to call even more, right? These guys are, I mean, obviously we're only playing with $3, right? But if you're looking at blinds, they're deep enough to actually play pots with here. So in position, yeah, I'm going to definitely like to call here and see a flop with the 2 callers. I already have 35 cents invested. So I think it's, what is that, 82 cents to call. So I'm gonna pretty much always elect to call here. See a flop. So queen high, this is very dry board, I think. Really nothing to be afraid of here. I don't see any 10 jacks in their range or any type of straightening cards. I mean, obviously queen, king, ace, queen, pocket jacks, pocket 10s, pocket queens, pocket kings, things like this. But in position, we'll just put in a C bet. We'll make it small enough where if someone has ace, king, they're going to call, and I'm not having them commit so much of their stack, so they'll still have fold equity on the turn if an ace or a king doesn't come out, and I continue with my story that I hit the queen, right? So if 5 does have ace, king, he's gonna call another street here. We pick up additional equity here with the flush draw on the turn, so he's got 263 behind, so he's got plenty of fold equity. And with us picking up this flush draw and already selling the queen, I'm just gonna have him make a decision here, and if we get called, it's not the worst thing, you know. We could be up against pocket jacks here easily. Ace king, just, I mean, we're live against pretty much everything that he can call this with, unless he was slow playing pocket queens. But I mean, even so, we're live, right? So this is what I like to do here. Just take it down. Yeah, he folds. So if we made a bigger bet on the flop, he wouldn't have had enough fold equity, I don't think, to fold that turn. So it's just stuff you have to think about. You got to think about the next streets and how people will act, right? Okay, so small blind, we have ace king off. Hijack raises 3x, so we're going to raise it up here. Okay, we raised it 60 cents. Big blind's going to fold. Now, I think I did this because if he jams, yeah, I sized that because if he jams and I can still come over, and 8 just calls his jam, then I can still come over the top. That's why I sized that way, I believe. So he's going to come along. This is a pretty clean board for ace-king in 8's calling range. If he had any pairs, I would think that he would have raised 7 there in position, right? If he had like 8s, 10s, 9s. So we could put him on like maybe king, queen here, maybe like ace 10. Obviously, you could have ace jack and just be slow playing. So we put in a C bet on the flop, and he calls. We're just going to check it to him. Double paired board now. But he checks there, so we're not really afraid of much. We'll get to showdown here, and ace high is going to probably take it down most of the time. So we're good, yep. And that's that. All other pairs got counterfeited too, right? So if he had 8, 7, 6s, so on and so forth, all counterfeited with that run out. But we will never know. Ace king suited on the button. Nobody raised. If somebody did raise in the field there, I might just flat, kind of disguise the hand. But if no one's raising, then I have 4x raise plus 1x per limper, right? So 4x raise plus 1x per limper. 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 So 4x raise plus 1x per That actually, typically I would raise to 35 cents there. I think I just went for 40 because these guys have been calling extra light. So I just kind of adapted to this table a little bit, changed it up. This guy's going to lead. He was leading draws earlier. I've only been at this table for like 30 minutes or so, but like if he flops top pair or has an overpair or something, he's kind of a trappy guy, and he bets a lot of his draws. So like 7-8, he would bet here. Clubs, he'd bet here, and it's 40 cents for $2, so 5-1, and whatever. I guess I'm just being stubborn, and I'm gonna flat him here. So board pairs now. So even if he has a 9, he has to be a little worrisome now, right, and slow down. I don't see him leading with a 6 on that flop, so that bet just doesn't make sense to me. That's why I call that one without hesitation, and now I'm just pricing for a call. So he played 8s that way. It's a little funky. These guys at this level, they just play kind of weird. So really doesn't make sense for that river bet, but whatever, he does it, and we call it off just because the line doesn't make sense. So we pick up ace-10 spades again. We're in the small blind here. Under the gun +1 makes it 3x. We get a call from late position. Alright, so I'm probably going to raise here. I don't remember, but I'll probably be raising. Just because I'm out of position, it's a pretty good hand. Okay, I just flat. So switched it up a little bit, I guess. Alright, so we got half the family in here. Pretty boring flop here for our hand. I don't know why this is on this. I don't know why this clip was chosen. I don't see me continuing here, but if it's on here, obviously I do. I'm at 30 cents. Okay, so we're just gonna. That's weird. We'll just flat out of position with not a whole lot of equity. All right. Maybe I was falling asleep during this hand. So king comes. I mean, if we're doing anything here, I would imagine that we're going to bluff at this king because there's no real other options that we're... Yeah, so try to lead this king, I guess. See if we could sell that story. We get called. We'll probably just shut down after this. I mean, I don't really know what we were doing here. I guess I included this just to show you guys, like, you know, I do make bad plays too. Just full disclosure, you know? Okay. Oh, I included this to show how weird that was, that guy had pocket 10s. That's alright. We could go over that some other time. So pocket kings here in the big blind. And I've been raising my blinds a lot, right? Because all my suited gappers and stuff and suited connectors, I like to raise when I'm out of position, which is on the button. So I've been opening a lot. I've been raising a lot from my buttons with marginal hands, which is pretty good. I've kind of set up the table to call me when I have a really good hand in the blinds. So here we pick up pocket kings, some limpers, and then the button's gonna 2x. So we look at stack sizes, right, and we want to range it somewhere where if this button does shove, we could come back over the top, right? So we commit everybody. If it gets around to the button and he shoves, us putting 75 cents in, if 8 does shove, we will be open again for betting, whereas if we bet, what would it be? If we bet 90 cents or more, and he went all in, we'd have to elect to just call. So that's something you have to kind of be aware of, is stack sizes and anticipating what people will do. He 2x'd from the button, so he's definitely capable of shoving. So you just want to size your bets, because now we've committed 4, right? And he's got a decent size behind. So if we get to 8 and he ships, then we can get 4 in there for probably the rest of his stack too. Which doesn't happen, but you know, you just set it up that way. You try to think about that stuff too. So pretty dry board here. I don't remember what I do here, so we'll have to just see. Okay, I put in a really small bet. trying to get 8 to just shove so that I can do a similar thing, right? So it doesn't work out. Now I'm just going to go for value on 4. So board's getting a little bit wet here. I don't like it. So I'll put in a little bit of a bigger bet. Really a blank there on the river. And I'll just put him in for a stack. If he's got 2 pair, he's got me. And he calls. We don't know what he has, but kings will take it down. Okay. And that, I think, is the end of my insomnia session last night from 4 a.m. to 5. So we add, I don't know, like, what did we add to the stack? Like $10. We add like $10 to the stack. So now this is later in the evening, right? So this is my 6 p.m. session. First hand, pocket 4s. I'm going to 4x from middle position. Cutoff's going to raise to 60. And so he's raising me 40 cents, right? And he's got like 13 times his raise behind. So I think we're getting a good price to go set mining with this guy. So we'll just come along. A lot of the times when someone raises me like that on an ace high board, I like to just bet it, because if they have kings, queens, jacks, they just kind of put you on an ace, and sometimes they'll fold. I chose not to do that here just because I do have some worries about this guy's trappiness. So, I mean, now we have, we got a gut shot, right? And we picked up a flush draw. We could still hit a set. So we're just going to check here. If he bets, we'll probably just fold. So we have a really small flush. We'll just check call. Or actually probably check fold. But we check and he checks and we're good. So we take it down. I don't know why that hand was on here. It seems a little irrelevant. Maybe this hand is relevant and that's why it was in there. I'm not sure. I probably fold this though. I don't really see me calling or doing anything with ace 10 under the gun. Yeah, okay, so I fold. I don't know, that clip shouldn't have been in there, I don't think. Alright, so later, I guess we're coming in late here. Sorry, these clips are a little messed up here. I'm not really sure what the pre-flop action was, but I raised him with, I got ace deuce on the button, so I put in a raise there, and he just flats and then checks back and then checks back, so I don't know, I guess maybe I put him on 9-10. And he just had 3s, so kind of weird. Weird hand. I don't know why that was in here either. Strange. Maybe the next hand is relevant. Okay, so the next hand is relevant. Pick up pocket jacks. So we've shown the table that we make some moves in position, right? So we just had ace deuce off. 3 betting and stuff like that. So kind of loosen up our image and then go back to playing how we're supposed to be playing. So we pick up jacks here. I actually can't see my stack size because when I'm doing the editing, I have a box that's in front of it. I think it says $6. So with our jacks here, there's 2 limpers. So typically, I mean, I would make it 30 cents. So alright, I bump it up to 40 just because of I got a little bit of a looser image here. So typically I would do 4x, right, plus 1x per limper. But this time I did 2x per limper. 4x plus 2x per limper. Okay. Folds around to 8. This guy just doesn't believe anything I do, which rightly so. They all shouldn't because I've been making moves at this table. Alright, so we got an overpair and a gut shot. Pretty coordinated board. He bets 5 cents, kind of polarizing, and I just put in $1. I'd assume this hand's going to be over quickly. There's a lot of hands that I want to protect against there. Okay. This is a long clip. Maybe this is the relevant hand because the last hand was not. We got pocket 8s, hijack. So I think 3 or 4 pots in a row I was in, and there was a hand before the ace deuce hand. I think it got cut off when I was doing editing, and I had ace jack of clubs against seat 8. He had ace king, and the flop there was some pre-flop action, and the flop came ace queen 10, and he had I think like 280 behind or something, and it ended up just getting all in on the flop, and it was my aggression. I was the aggressor on the flop. So it just kind of showed that I was like doing things when I was kind of weak, and my image at the table isn't great. And this is now the 4th hand in a row that I've played. So taking that into account in my sizing and my activity. All right, so we're gonna bet just 25% a pot here. Just kind of sell him a weird line. Obviously, we flopped a set. Straightening cards here. Queen comes out, so there's plenty of stuff that can hit his range that's not beating us, so we're going to go for some value here. I'd imagine we bet like 80 cents or something, maybe 90 cents, 80 cents, okay. So we bet 80 cents, and I think he just calls, and we take it down. So this is the next hand we play, next relevant hand. We have 6-5 suited on the big blind. Out of habit, I think we just raise up our suited connectors in the blinds, even though we are in position. Still a good hand, so obviously a good flop for us. We flop a flush draw. This guy, I think, has just been getting annoyed with having me on the left because I've been raising a lot, and this is him, I think, just saying he's not going to be bullied. Maybe he hit a 10 there, and he's just going to decide he wants to start leading. Leads again for $1.80. Obviously, we hit our flush here. I don't see him doing this with a 9, especially on the flop, right? Because what's really going to call you? You're not getting value from anything. So here, I think we just look to we're going to look to put in a raise. We don't want the board to pair again, like another 10 or 4 if a heart comes, and it's just ugly. So I think we put that raise in there to try and get it in, but he didn't. And pretty dry run out on the river, so we just put it all in there, and he calls and he loses. Flush takes it down. So this guy's been pretty pissed off with us, I think. Relevant in this hand. So this is the very next hand. We are in the small blind with Jack Queen off. Not sure what that was about. So Jack Queen off in the small blind. Under the gun is getting paid by the hour to be on the table, so he's just taking his time. Sorry for this. I tried to cut videos up as much as I could so we don't have long episodes like the first one we put. I know that one was pretty long, 40 minutes. It's try to avoid that. All right, so some limp action going on. Limping around. So keep in mind 2 limps here on the button, right? There's 2 limpers behind him are blinds. He's steaming off the last hand, so just keep that in mind, right? So we're gonna make it 35 cents here. 4x from our blinds plus 3 limpers is 35 cents. We make it 35 cents, so we get a flat from 4. We get a flat, I think, from 8 flats, I think, or maybe 9. Okay, 8 flats. So everyone's just kind of getting priced in here, right? And then 2 is going to just ship his remaining stack, which, I mean, if he had, it just seems like BS to me, really. I think I'm ahead of a lot of the things he's going to be doing this with. He's steaming off the last loss. He could have like 5-6 suited. He could have like, I mean, even 5-6 suited. I think he would have I just don't see him having a decent hand at all there, and he's just trying to steal. So I'm going to raise it just so that no one else is priced in, and indeed we get it in good here. He's got 8-10, and he just misses, and we take it down. I think that was the last hand. If it's not, it's pretty close to it. I remember finishing around 647 or 648. So pocket 4 is on the button. We'll probably look to... Oh, no. So we're going to fold here. I mean, worst case scenario... best case scenario there, you're flipping, right? Because if he's shoving, he has an overpair or you're flipping. So it's just like really pointless, I think. All right, so that wraps it up. We're just going to round that session up to an hour and a half just for the sake of the Poker Tracker app. I'm just going to try and keep all even numbers on the time, so I'll just be rounding to the closest half hour, whether it's up or down. So we'll round that up to an hour and a half session. We'll go put it in the book. I think I just went to the calendar on here just to show the day that I was playing. Sunday, just for, I guess, my own records. I don't know. Into the tracker app, we'll input the session. It's a pretty cool app. They have a free version of it. I think this one I paid for. It just allows a little extra stuff that you can do, but you guys can get the free version in the App Store. I included the link for it in episode 1 description, so you can check it out there. So we ended up actually going under our buy-in, and we just added on 54 cents during that game. So that's why I put 5.54 in on the buy-in, and we're out for 14.21. So this is day 3 of the Bankroll Builder series. We put in, I think we put in 8 hours for the first episode. It was 8 hours worth of footage. Lucky for us, this was only 2.5 hours, and we were able to get a similar result for the 8-hour session, in the 2 days prior. So you just go, you put in your times here, and enter in all the stats from your session. You save it, and then you can go to your report, and you can just look at your total stats there. So that's that. That's the app, and that wraps up Saturday for us. Okay, guys. So that was Saturday sessions, 2 sessions, 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. session, and what was it? 6:30, 5:30 to 7, an hour and a half session in the afternoon. So both sessions from Saturday, 2.5 hours, and the bankroll is up to, I think, $61 or something, $62, something like that. Tomorrow is Sunday. I have a paper to write, so I probably won't play tomorrow. I'll look to play a little bit on Monday, maybe look for episode 3, maybe Monday evening or Tuesday evening. I'm going to try and keep them really short, so just do 10 hands or so they don't get to be very long like the other one was. And I'll get that board hopefully this week, and we'll just leave our stats up for the intros. I'm still editing on the iPad, so video quality will just get better as we continue here. And yeah, we're moving right along. So 4 sessions, 4 positive sessions. Our big blinds our profits per hour are pretty outrageous right now. I think it's like $3.50 an hour, right? Which is just crazy if you think about the blind levels, because it's 2 cents 5 cents. So it's like 70 bigs an hour, which obviously, we just starting off this series. I don't know if it's the level of player or if we're just running really well, but obviously once variants kick in, we're looking to be hopefully somewhere around averaging around like 10 to 13. That's what I'm hoping for. So obviously I don't think we're going to keep up the pace of 70 big blinds an hour, but if we do all the way through, I'm the best ever. I'm just kidding. All right. So thanks for watching, guys, and just message me any questions you have on any of the hands. If I didn't do a good enough job on hand analysis or letting you know decisions I made, or if you have ideas about, maybe something that you saw that I did wrong and you got some insight from me, I'm always willing to hear that. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next episode.